Om Shri Sai Ram. I offer my most humble pranams at the lotus feet of beloved Bhagawan. Dearest Swami, respected elders, dear brothers and sisters. It is indeed Swami's blessing that using technology we are able to virtually participate in a satsang, though we are separated so much by time and space. I would like to begin by recounting the experience of a student. Having passed out of the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, he was facing an elite interview panel. He sat before them and he was answering all their questions very well. The panel was very impressed and they decided that they would be hiring the student. But in the end, they wanted to ask one question, and the senior most among those panelists asked this student, "We hear that you have come from Sai Baba's institution. We hear that Sai Baba gives chains, pendants, rings, different things to different people. What has Sai Baba given you?" It was just a casual question, possibly born out of curiosity. But the answer that this student gave bowled over all those panel members, and to this day continues to be an inspiration for all of us. So this student said, "I come from a very humble background. I come from a family that is financially not well to do. Coming from such a family, I am able to sit in the presence of this elite panel and answer with the most measured confidence. This self-confidence is what Sai Baba has given me." They were bold, he got his job. Whenever we hear this episode, it's so amazing because self-confidence is one of the greatest gifts of the spiritual master. Because as Swami says, the mansion of self-realization is built on the foundation of self-confidence. Swami says self-confidence is the foundation, the walls are self-satisfaction, the roof is self-sacrifice, and the house or the mansion that results is that of self-realization. Without self-confidence, self-realization is simply not possible. What is this self-confidence all about? It was the year 1995, the 70th year celebrations of the advent of Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. As part of that, the devotees were planning so many things, but Bhagawan had also planned so many things. And one of the things that Bhagawan did in 1995 was to grant group interviews to the students of different classes. And on the 28th of September 1995, it was a chance for class interview for the students of the 8th grade. So these little children, they were in the interview room with Swami. It's amazing, Swami is like a child with children. He's a man among men, he's a woman among women. When he's alone, he's God. That is self-confidence at its highest, at its peak. That is something that Swami wants us to embody. Anyway, coming back to this episode, so in the interview room, the best way to hold the attention of all these children is through stories, and that's exactly what Swami did. Swami began to narrate a story to all these children. Swami said that there was this forest in which there was a very huge banyan tree. And on the top of that banyan tree, there was one little bird. This banyan tree had many mighty branches. Each of those branches further divided into sub-branches. Those sub-branches broke into sub-branches. Then there were the twigs, the leaves. On one tiny twig of one sub-branch of a sub-branch of a branch of this mighty banyan tree, there was this little sparrow singing away her song happily. And then came the storm. It started with lightning, thunder, heavy rain. The storm grew intense, severe. The breeze turned into a wind. The wind turned into a gale. The gale turned into a hurricane. And soon the whole forest was shivering and shaking at the impact of the storm. The banyan tree began to shake. It was shaken so badly by the storm that the roots too began to uproot themselves. And Swami said, in an instant, the twig which was connected to the branch, which was connected to the sub-branch and all that, that began to shake and it broke and came crashing to the ground. And Swami said, do you know what happened to the sparrow? When he asked this to the students, they were all, in a kind of suspense and they were wondering. There was silence in the interview room. And Swami said, nothing happened to the sparrow. Because the moment the branch crashed, the sparrow flew away. It seemed like an anticlimax, You were expecting some other kind of an ending for the story and it ended off like a very anticlimactic note. But Swami then said that, see, in your life too, if you take support of the world, if the world is your support, if you depend on the world for your safety, then when any storm comes, you will also come crashing down. But instead of that, like that little sparrow, if you depend on your own wings, then no storm can ever touch you because you will always soar high. And what are those two wings? Swami said those are the wings of faith and self-confidence. This is a very important point because, faith and self-confidence are like two sides of the same coin. One cannot exist without the other. It simply cannot exist. You cannot have faith without self-confidence. You cannot have self-confidence without faith. Because what is faith? Faith is confidence in the God who is outside of me. And what is self-confidence? It is faith in the Lord who is within me. So both are absolutely essential. In fact, both are the same, given different terms. That's all. Now I'm reminded of an episode, I think this was the year 2004, yes. So in 2004, we had planned to put up a drama for the Independence Day in Bhagawan's presence. The Indian Independence Day falls on the 15th of August. And we were wondering as to what should be the theme of the drama. I remember one day when I was having bath, I don't know whether it was the shiver because of the cold water or shiver because of the inspiration. But I definitely had this idea where I felt independence in Sanskrit is called Swarajya. Swami has beautifully defined this. Swami says, Swa means the Atma and Rajya means rule. So true independence comes only when the Atma rules. Okay? Not by getting freedom from a foreign rule or getting freedom in a social sense or economic sense. True freedom is when the Atma rules, when the conscience rules. This was an inspiration, so we made the entire program based on this theme. Interestingly, on the day of the Independence Day, that is the 15th of August, in the morning Swami called two of us for an interview. And it was a wonderful 1-hour interview in which Swami spoke about so many things. But I would like to point your attention to one fact in which, Swami asked, what is the meaning of independence? What is the meaning of Swarajya? And Swami told the Vice Chancellor and the warden who were seated there, he said, see, people misunderstand the meaning of Swarajya. Swarajya means Swa, Atma, Rajya, rule. It is only when there is a rule of the self does it become self-rule or does it become independence. As I was sitting there and hearing this, I got excited, and I popped up like a jack in the box and I said, Swami, we are telling the same thing. We are telling the same thing in our presentation. That Swarajya is rule of the Atma. Swami smiled. He appeared to be pleased. And he told the warden and the Vice Chancellor that, see, when I told my students once, they learnt it. They grasped it. Looking back at that statement, Swami had actually not told us in any way. Swami had not communicated in the dream, or Swami had not physically told us in an interview, or the idea did not come from reading a book or something like that. It was something that came from within. But Swami acknowledged that it was him. Any inspiration, any motivation, anything that we feel from deep within that thrills us, that fills us with positive energy, that is Bhagavan speaking with us. And that is self-confidence. And this self-confidence can come only when we have faith. Why? Because it is only when we have faith in Bhagavan's words can we be able to accept the truth that what comes from inspiration and motivation within is indeed Swami only. Because Swami himself has said in his discourse many times, when asked whether he is God, Swami has said, yes, I am God. But if you inquire within, you will realize that you too are God. The only difference between you and me is that I know of my divinity while you don't. Now it is our faith in Bhagavan's words that makes us accept whatever he says as Vedavakya. And therefore when he says that he is divine and so are we accept both. That he is divine and that we are divine. If we accept only the fact that he is divine and we are not, then our faith is not faith. Because faith is always complete. We cannot have 50% faith, 40% faith. Faith is either 100% or 0%. So when we say we have 100% faith in what Swami says, it means we have faith that he is God, but then it also means we have faith that so are we. Without these two going together, it is not faith. It is neither self-confidence. On one occasion, Bhagavan walked into our midst in Trai Brindavan during a Trai session. Trai Brindavan is Bhagavan's residence at Brindavan, Bangalore in Whitefield. And Trai sessions were those beautiful sessions that Swami would grant the students every now and then. He would, actually during the summer vacations, many times it used to be on a regular daily basis. So one day Swami walked in and he appeared to be a little pensive, he appeared to be a little serious and in a thoughtful kind of mood. And he came there and he asked us students, do you believe that Swami is God? And we all thought, what happened? What happened to the one who tells us to have self-confidence? He himself seems to be having a bout of low self-confidence. So we all screamed back. We said, yes, Swami. And Swami appeared to cheer up a little bit. He then said, that means whatever I say is true, right? Whatever I say is the truth. We again shouted, yes, Swami. Then Swami said, with a smile on his face now, he said, all of you are divine, all of you are also God. We just bent down, closing our eyes, and shrugging off the statement. There was no yes, Swami for this. If I believe that Bhagavan is Bhagavan and if I believe that every word he says is the truth, then why am I not ready to accept the truth that I too am divine? That is where the disconnect comes. That is why I feel that we do not have faith in Bhagavan's words. We claim to have faith. We would like to have faith, but we don't have implicit faith. Because if we have implicit faith, there will be utmost self-confidence. That is something that I think we should try to imbibe. Faith and self-confidence are the two wings. Without one of them, we cannot fly. It is just not possible that we are able to fly without one of them. Both are absolutely essential for flight, for taking off in life. So, let us begin. Let us begin by having faith in what Swami says. Now, in all our vehicles, in the different instruments, in the different machines that we use, we have meters that help us to estimate different things. For example, if I want to know how fast my car is going, I need not actually go and see how fast the wheels are turning and make calculations. I can just look at my dashboard and see how fast the car is going. So is there a dashboard by which we can measure how strong our faith or self-confidence is? There is a dashboard. And that dashboard, Swami says, is surrender. What is this surrender? Bhagavan beautifully defines surrender. Bhagavan says, surrender is the ability to accept and celebrate. Accept and celebrate whatever happens to us in our life as that being good for us. So, when something good happens, I just smile and say that this is good for me and that's why it happened. It is not because of anything else. It is because I have a supreme powerful Lord who loves me a lot. He does everything for my good. And since this is good for me, this success is good for me, this profit is good for me, this relationship is good for me, that is why it has happened. And when something bad or sad happens, bad or sad in quotes because that's how we perceive it, if I am a person of true surrender, I will accept and celebrate that also. I will be grateful to Swami for that loss, for that sorrow, for that pain, for that death, for that disease, for anything that I consider as bad, because it is not bad. How can anything bad happen to me if my Lord is all powerful and all loving? If I have faith that Swami loves me a lot, if I have faith that Swami loves me more than anything else in the universe, if I have faith that Bhagawan is the most powerful, then how will I ever have this feeling that something is bad, something bad is happening to me? How will I ever have depression? How will I ever have sorrow? I will always accept and celebrate everything in life. That is the dashboard by which we measure surrender. I'll possibly conclude with one little story of a great soldier who was crossing across the ocean, running away from his enemies. He was a great, phenomenal soldier, a great swordsman, and yet he had lost in battle and he was now escaping the enemy, sitting in a boat along with his wife. As the boat was crossing the big sea that was there to take them to the other side to safety, there was a storm in the ocean. And during the storm, the boat began to rock. It began to, shake a lot. The wife was very worried. But she saw that her husband was not worried at all. So she asked him, "Don't you get scared? Are you not fearful?" The husband immediately drew out his sword, took the sword and came an inch away from the wife's neck. The wife looked at him with a kind of puzzled look, wondering what is happening. He said, "Are you not afraid?" She said, "Why should I be?" He said, "Because this is a sword that is 1 inch away from your neck." She said, "I am not afraid because I know you are holding the sword. I know you are not going to cut my neck, and I know what a great swordsman you are. You can stop the sword 1 millimeter away from my neck also. I am not scared at all." The man smiled, put the sword back into the sheath, and then he said, "That's the same. I'm not scared in the ocean because I know that my Lord who loves me the most, He is in charge and I know He is the most capable. He is taking care. This storm is like the sword that came near the neck. So I shall accept whatever He does." Well, it's not a perfect analogy, but if my faith in Swami is complete, it means I believe that He is the most powerful, He is the most loving. Then I will have the supreme self-confidence too. I will know that I never need to be depressed. I shall always be bubbling with energy. I shall always be bubbling with enthusiasm, love, happiness. And all of this will come simply from the single fact that I am loved by the most powerful being in the universe. And I have nothing to worry about because my whole life is going on perfectly as per His divine plan. And I will not have enough time in my life simply to express my gratitude also. That is the another component in the dashboard. Gratitude. How much of gratitude I express. So I think these are the two things in our dashboard. How much of surrender I have, which is how well am I able to accept and just not accept, celebrate whatever happens to me in life. And the other is gratitude. How much time in a day, how much time, how many minutes in an hour I spend expressing my gratitude. I think if these two meters are running high and full, our faith and self-confidence both are fine. Because as I said, once again, self-confidence and faith are two sides of the same coin. I'm praying to Bhagawan that we realize this truth, that we grow in our faith in Him, that our faith be 100% always. Because Swami, there are moments when we have 100% faith, but there are many moments when we have no faith. May we be consistent in our faith, may we be persistent in our faith, may our love for you grow stronger every passing moment. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.